Coming up this week, off-screen.
Paddington's back.
We've only got room for the brave.
We learn about the Florida Project.
We meet Professor Marston and the Wonder Women.
There's some fireworks.
Toby Jones has a kaleidoscope.
And Shakespeare has a Caribbean dream.
All those to come and more, off-screen.
This is off-screen. Off-screen. The latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
Ooh, welcome to Offscreen. I'm Van Connor.
And I'm John Coulson.
Thanks for stepping in for, unfortunately, very ill Mr. Allen this week.
No worries.
I got to see him and his beloved wife this morning, and you remember that beginning scene from Outbreak?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Kind of like that, only without the monkeys and the bomb. Okay. You know, kind of like that. Poor guy. Get well soon, Mr. Allen. Get well soon. So, before we get to the film news, the reviews, box office top 5, all of our many competitions and plugs and all the fun, you know, the usual standard fun, we need a piece of film news to get going with. So, what you got for me? What should we talk about first?
I've got two for you.
Okay.
So, we've got one where Disney trying to take over the world.
Well, we know, that's nothing new. I mean, House of Mouse will soon dominate. They will stick giant mouse ears on planet Earth so that when the aliens arrive, they will just see Mickey's silhouette from space.
Remember when the Star Wars thing came and they put the mouse ears on the Death Star? Genius.
So Disney have apparently been having talks with 21st Century Fox, which is which is actually the fiction, the narrative fiction wing of 20th Century Fox, to buy all their properties. Wow. Right, which is like, this is basically a mega deal. This isn't just a deal, this is a mega merger.
Yeah.
Well, not even a merger, it's just an acquisition, a mega acquisition, as you will. The word mega is involved, but and the reason this is a big deal is because you think about the things this would mean Disney would have.
Yeah.
Disney would own, for instance, The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
So The Simpsons would become part of the Disney family. They would own the Ice Age series.
Wait, did that mean that the Simpsons rides and stuff would have to move parks?
Different thing with theme parks, because, for instance, there are Marvel rides in Universal, for instance, because of an older deal.
Oh, yeah, good show.
You know, and Avatar is a Fox property that's in Disneyland. So, you know.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So the whole thing, you know, we got this whole thing now where they could own The Simpsons, they could own Ice Age, they could own, you know, not Shrek, not Puss in Boots. What is it recently? We had one recently. Weird one, like things like Captain Underpants, stuff like that. But like franchise stuff, they'd have Alien, they'd have Die Hard. You know, these are the things that Fox would have to give over as part of this deal. And, most notably, all of their Marvel properties.
Well, yeah.
So, you know, the ones that Disney and Marvel Studios have been able to, you know, have not been able to go anywhere near. Things like the X-Men and things like, you know, the Fantastic Four, because Fox did wonderful work with that. I mean, that was tremendous. I tip my hat to them every time for that.
Twice.
But twice, yes, twice. I mean, I'll make an apology for Rise of the Silver Surfer, but you know what? No, there's no excuse for Josh Trank's abortion of a film. But, no. Okay, so, apparently it's on again, off again. It's currently off as of about 2 days ago.
Okay.
But it could be on again soon.
Because that's how off again, on again works.
That's how it works. That's exactly how it works, as an ex of mine will attest. So, in the meanwhile, what else we got in the news? What else is there?
So one that you will want to talk about a lot is Joe Johnston to retire.
No, Joe Johnston he's one of the great directors sort of around. He's so unappreciated as well. He's one of the old. He was a protege of George Lucas back in the original Star Wars era.
Oh, okay.
And he came up as like a visual effects guy, and then towards the end of the 80s, he started directing movies himself.
Okay.
So he came up with things like The Rocketeer and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, quality.
Exactly. Like really good movies. Yeah. And then this went all the way up to things like Captain America, the First Avenger, and he did Jurassic Park 3 in the meanwhile, and yeah. And then, of course, there's the fact that Joe Johnston, because you just had a picture of him up, I've never seen a picture of Joe Johnston in which he doesn't look like he wants to tell some kids to get off his lawn.
Really? That's how he looked.
He really does. He really does look like some punk kids are on his lawn.
Well, to be honest, if he retires, that's what he'll be doing.
Well, I asked Kase about it. Why does Joe Johnson always look like he wants those punk kids to get off his lawn? And his response is, if you didn't get to make a sequel to The Rocketeer either, you'd be that way.
Okay.
But yeah, he's doing the reboot of the Narnia series at the minute, The Silver Chair, and he said that will be his last film as director. He might produce, I could imagine he would.
Yeah.
But he's such a reliable effects guy that when Spielberg said he wasn't coming back to do a third Jurassic Park, he's like the first guy they called.
Oh, yeah.
No, completely makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So should we do the first review of this week then? And it's a doozy. Okay, Paddington 2. Right. Are you a fan of the first one? Did you see the first one?
I never saw it.
You never saw it? Okay, can I suggest you absolutely watch the first one?
Really?
Because it's such a cute, charming, adorable family film. It really is. I loved the hell out of it. And then, of course, they've made a sequel. And they took the stuff I loved about the first movie and they added a bunch of stuff from other movies I love, and they made a movie I love even more.
Right.
So it's set an undisclosed amount of time, maybe a couple of years, might be real time, after Paddington. So Paddington Brown is now living with the Brown family, in Windsor Gardens, and Daddy's Hugh Bonneville, the mum is Sally Hawkins, the grandma is Julie Walters, there's 2 kids, Peter Capaldi is the crotchety neighbour, and he's become a bit of a Jack the Lad type.
Okay.
He's a bit of a man around town. He walks down the road and he tells you, don't forget your keys, you've left them in the house, and then the guy just manages to avoid being locked out. He's like, don't forget your lunch today, to the old lady who remembers her lunch, and he helps everyone because that's just how he is. Because Paddington is just a lovely guy who helps everyone that he encounters. And it's coming up to his Aunt Lucy's 100th birthday, and his Aunt Lucy is the one who raised him. Okay. And he wants to, she's in the care home for elder bears. Back in the Amazon, and he wants to send her the perfect present for her 100th birthday because all she ever wanted with her life was to see London. And he finds a pop-up book, a one-of-a-kind pop-up book that perfectly depicts London, and he decides, I'm going to save up the £500 it's going to cost for this one-of-a-kind rare pop-up book and send it to Aunt Lucy for her birthday. However, he soon crosses paths with a sort of a devious actor, a devious, disgraced actor, played by Hugh Grant. Oh. Yes. And he, a master of disguise, who decides for his own reasons, which seemingly involve a kind of a treasure hunt, he wants this book for himself. So he arranges to break into the antique store, steal the book for himself, and frame Paddington in the process. So Paddington winds up in this Grand Budapest Hotel-like version of a prison. Okay. Forced to sort of make do around all these hard-nut convicts, whilst his family on the outside work to clear his name. We have a clip of one of their visiting days.
In the past month, these 3 shadowy individuals have all been seen snooping around 3 London landmarks.
Oh.
We think the thief you saw is part of a criminal gang.
Using the pop-up book as a treasure map.
Well, it's a theory. Have you found out who they are?
Not yet, dearie.
Maybe I should take a look.
I'm sorry, this is a private conversation.
Oh, it's all right, Mr. Brown. This is my friend, Knuckles.
Go here.
And this is Phibbs.
G'day.
Spoon.
Hello.
Jimmy the Snitch.
All right.
T-Bone.
Watch out.
The Professor.
Oh.
Squeaky Pete.
Hello.
Double Bass Bob.
Hello.
Farmer Jack.
Okay.
Mad Dog. Johnny Cashpoint.
Ka-ching.
Sir Geoffrey Wilcott.
I hope I can rely on your vote.
And Charlie Rumble.
It's so wonderful to meet you all.
That joke about Sir Geoffrey Wilcott, it's like a fake Tory MP who's been incarcerated for something we're never told about. That absolutely slayed me. And they go back to it about 2 or 3 times, and I just laugh myself senseless every time. I couldn't possibly comment on such a matter. Things like that, just a really great gag, very for the time, and yet at the same time not really forced, not really one of the things you don't really notice unless it's not too obstructive, a gag. Doesn't take you out of it. And that's, in many ways, the perfect representation of what's so great about this movie. Like the first movie, they've managed to avoid the pitfall of, it's Paddington for the YouTube generation. None of that. This is Paddington in Richard Curtis's London.
The best London.
The best London. The Richard Curtis London, yes. And it's whimsical and fun, and it's got a great cast, and, Brendan Gleeson turns up as the prison chef, because that's who you cast.
Yeah, why not?
Brendan Gleeson. Hugh Grant's absolutely sensational as the villain of the piece.
I'm always a fan.
And I try to remember his name because it's something hilarious. His first name is Phoenix, and I can't remember what his surname is, but he is Phoenix Buchanan. That's it. He's the actor Phoenix Buchanan, and he has this almost Norman Bates-like schizophrenic kind of a performance thing that he does with all the costumes of his former roles, which is absolutely brilliant. And it's Hugh Grant at his comedic best.
Oh, brilliant.
Absolutely mincing it up in this great family-friendly Grand Budapest style. There's a lot of Wes Anderson to it as well. It's a very strange thing. A lot of great slapstick, a lot of heart, a lot of warmth. I really love Ben Whishaw as Paddington. I loved it. I really did. From minute one to the very closing frame. And by the way, stick through to about halfway through the closing credits, because there's an element that goes through. I loved it. I mean, I wish I'd had a massive marmalade sandwich with me in the screen. They did give us some before the screening, but I wish I had a massive marmalade sandwich in the screen with me, and like a nice cup of soothing tea. And that's the only way I could. I just want to wrap myself up in this film and be cuddled by it.
Oh, that's nice.
That's how cute a film this is. I want to fall asleep cuddling this film. That's how good it is. I really, really loved it, and I say that having already been a fan of the first one. If I had kids, I would take them to see it. I don't have kids, so I'd go on my own happily again. I would go and see it again on my own. That's how much I loved it. You don't need kids to see this movie. It's Paddington done it. It's so good. So, should we plug the podcast edition and the competitions?
Yeah, sure. I'm so shocked at how happy you are.
I'm really happy about Paddington. It's so good. Okay, so podcast edition. You're a fan of our podcast, and you're the one who suggested our digital bling that we're now so proud of.
Yeah, I am the podcast guy.
You are the podcast guy. So iTunes, Acast, Deezer, TuneIn. Pick your podcast platform of choice or podcast platform of preference if we're going with alliteration.
I would suggest Acast if you're at a computer.
Yeah, because you get the digital bling, and it's so much more fun, isn't it?
And you just know that you spent ages doing it.
Actually, no, we've gotten it down to a pretty refined process now. Yeah. But yeah, you get the extended edition. After the end credits, we have a whole bunch of other stuff, more news, more reviews, Moment of Cage, loads of fun for the family. Competitions this week, loads of good stuff. Yeah. So we've got Blu-rays of Sorcerer to give away.
Okay.
Which is, the sort of kind of overlooked freaking movie. His follow-up to The Exorcist turned out to be a financial flop at the time, but then again, it did open opposite Star Wars, so
stood no chance.
We've also got Blood Simple, the Coen Brothers debut feature, to give away as well. We're giving that away on Blu-ray, and I'm very proud to announce we're giving away Justice League goodie bags this week. Oh, cool. You want to hear what's in these things? It's unbelievable. Fidget spinners, mobile rings, scarves, hats, tote bags, Polytech hoodies, those funky, Polytech hoodies, shirts, collectible pins, wristbands, computer stickers, everything.
And
all Justice League branded. And a partridge in a pear tree. No, it's not even December yet. Shut up. So yeah, go to onscreenfilm.com, go in the competition section, and win some swag.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back, Mr. Coulson. So, should we go somewhere that you won't be expecting now?
Yeah.
Let's talk about A Caribbean Dream. And, you already know that this is a Shakespeare project.
Yeah. Okay,
so brace yourself. This is an adaptation of A Midsummer Night's Dream, but it takes place in Barbados. And it features a regional cast for Barbados. So what you actually wind up with is the classic story of Midsummer Night's Dream, Puck, the fairies, the love spells, everyone wakes up and they're loving different people, the kind of unconventional love story, but the Caribbean version. So, yeah, as bonkers as that sounds, I promise you, to see and hear it is even more bonkers. Here's a clip.
Helen, I love thee. By my life I do.
I say I love thee more than we can do.
If thou say so, withdraw and prove it too.
Yard foul!
Lord, what fools these mortals be.
I've looked around. We should be wooed and we're not meant to woo. All that I ever see is your
That's something you think you'd be hearing today, huh?
The soundtrack's going to be just so good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, clearly is. Right, the soundtrack is good. The film actually, well, to be fair, the film is exactly as good as you would either think it would be or wouldn't be. So, if you like A Midsummer Night's Dream, you will like this.
Okay.
The cultural facelift, doesn't particularly distract. It's the same old story. The story shines through no matter what the regional aesthetic seems to be. That seems to be the case. I mean, as far as Midsummer Night's Dream goes for me, I mean, I've seen a bunch of versions on stage, but the one I always remember is the 1999, I think, film with was it Christian Bale?
Oh, I'm not sure. I just remember it was like
There was a major film in about 99, 2000, in the summer one of those years.
It was one of, when the teacher used to bring the TV into the room and you'd be like, oh, it's a nothing lesson.
This does have the feeling, actually, of one of those films that your teacher would show you. To try and do something alternative.
Yeah.
In that way that they show the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet. Because that's hip and edgy, but you're still getting the text.
Yeah.
Same thing here. They'd show you this for the same exact reason they show you Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
And on that level, it's you can't really not enjoy it. It's 82 minutes long. It's colourful. It's vivid. It's written and directed. Well, not written and directed, but adapted by and directed by Shakira Bourne. It has its charm. It really does, and a lot of it is that sort of that regional cultural warmth. Like you say, the soundtrack is so sort of lilted and kind of wonderful and delightful that you do get sucked into it, and it's that classic text. And I mean, Midsummer Night's Dream is one that they still teach to this day. It's one that does get taught an awful lot.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, I enjoyed it.
Oh, good.
For the most part, I will admit, I really did enjoy it. So, Mr. Coulson, over to you for some film news. I believe there was a piece that caught your eye. What would you like to talk about?
Vin Diesel.
Oh, is this him doing the boxing drama?
Yeah, boxing club.
Boxing club drama. I forget the title of this. It's something like Crashers Club or something like that.
Oh, wow.
He's going to produce this because he has that label, One Race.
Yeah.
Which is meant to refer to his sort of his worldview on ethnicity because he's mixed race.
Yeah.
Made that movie Strays or Multifaceted, something like that. That was his debut film. And so his label's called One Race. And they produced most of his body of work, to be honest. So now he's teaming up with one of the producers of Criminal Minds to do an NBC drama series about a gritty, downtrodden Chicago boxing club and how a young single mom from the suburbs kind of crosses paths with them and changes their lives forever. How it changes the lives of the kids who frequent there. But it's Vin Diesel. I'm sure it'll be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, it's got boxing.
It's got boxing. That's kind of a big ticket item at the minute. Is the old boxing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
the old box.
The old boxing. It's a big ticket item. It's certainly packing them in on the pay-per-view circuit at the minute. It does seem boxing seems more popular now than it was when I was a kid.
It's because it's got exciting again.
It has, hasn't it? Yeah. It's weird. In the last 18 months, 2 years, I would say, boxing has just gone up a whole other level.
Yeah.
So it's not really terribly surprising to me that the idea of going more into boxing with fiction isn't the one that's Animal Kingdom, I think, or something like that. That's quite big at the moment. That's MMA. That sounds like a similar kind of thing to this project, but that stars Frank Grillo.
Oh, just Kingdom.
Oh, is it Kingdom?
Just Kingdom.
Is it Kingdom?
Yeah.
Right. There's another series called Animal Kingdom that isn't about animals. That's why I sort of made the leap there.
Yeah, just Kingdom.
Fair enough. So Kingdom with Frank Grillo. I want to watch it. I will get to it.
It's got Frank in it. Of course you want to watch it.
Of course it has. So let me talk about the Florida Project then.
Yes.
Right. So there's a motel run by Willem Dafoe. And this is not a horror movie. Right? I want you to get off the bat straight away, because if I say there's a motel run by Willem Dafoe, you expect there's going to be some killing.
Yeah, that was a scared laugh.
Exactly, yeah. It's what that Family Guy shot of him crawling out from under the bed, sliding out. So what you've got is this is the story of a young girl, played by Brooklyn Prince. Her name is Mooney. She grows up. She's growing up over the course of a summer in one of those extended stay motels. You know that you get in the US where you check in for like 3 months to a motel.
Oh, right, yeah.
One of those. Willem Dafoe is the manager, and he's sort of like the parent figure to this complex as well. The mum is frequently off, grafting, we'll say, making ends meet, some sort of unskilled work. It's never particularly laid out. Some sort of unskilled work that she's forced to work long hours at. So she's kind of an absentee mum in one regard. And it's about how Mooney grows up over the summer, how she spends the time with her friends and the adventures and misadventures, as it were, that they get into, and how certain events start to impact their lives and change their future for the better, for the worse. Well, it's up in the air. Here is a clip of Willem Dafoe telling off some kids.
Yeah. I got a videotape of the kids illegally entering the utility room and pulling.
Do you hear what I just said?
I got it. I'm gonna talk to her.
Happens again, you're out of here. It's only second week of the summer and there's already been a dead fish in the pool.
We were doing an experiment. We were trying to get it back alive. That wasn't my idea.
And water balloons thrown at tourists. You can't with tourists.
They didn't tip us.
Serious?
No.
Oh my God, this is unacceptable. I failed as a mother, Mooney. You've disgraced me.
Harley?
Yeah, Mom, you're disgraced.
I love this film. I didn't expect to at all. So this comes from the guy that made Tangerine.
All right.
You remember that one at all?
I think.
That was the one shot on an iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think I remember there's something ridiculous
Yeah,
about
it was shot on an iPhone, and every broadsheet critic declared it to be the greatest piece of film ever constructed. And you sit and think, well, of course you did. You're from a broadsheet. And, yeah. And you came away from thinking, okay, it's a novelty that it's shot on an iPhone. The central performance was all right. That's really all it's got going for it. I don't see the great talent here. This time around, Sean Baker, the director of that film, has decided he's going to make a film properly.
All right.
It's kind of like when people make a found footage film first, then they go make an actual film afterwards. Kind of the same thing. And so he's written this as well. He's co-written this with Chris Burgoch. I think co-wrote Tangerine with him as well. Right. This is a way, way better movie than Tangerine was. Really gripping in the sense of... It never lets up with just how absolutely confident in itself it is. It very much knows its locale, that kind of a sleazy, you know some bad stuff's going on, but you can kind of overlook it if you just walk quickly enough kind of a location. One of those... Bria Venate as the mum, Hallie, I think she's great. Willem Dafoe obviously owns this film, but its breakout star is Brooklyn Prince. I don't even know how old Brooklyn Prince is. Child actress, she's absolutely tremendous. It doesn't say her actual age on her IMDb page, but she's can't be older than like 7 or 8 tops.
All right.
Can't be older than 7 tops. And she's fantastic in this. To the extent that, and she and the other child actors in it actually all as well, I wondered how much of their dialogue was actually improvised and how much was scripted, because it's so naturalistic, it's so believable, and so utterly, unflinchingly childlike. And you completely buy it. That you think, have they really just not let these kids in, just told them, just go and play and we'll film you?
Yeah.
Which is a dodgy thing to ask kids anyway, but just go and play, we'll film you. And it feels like that. You wonder how tightly scripted it is, but apparently there is some scripting in there. There is a sequence in which she's made to cry, and that apparently is scripted. And you think, wow, okay, so there clearly is quite a skilled an actress inside this little girl. And she's absolutely an unbelievable find. The final 5 minutes of it involves some guerrilla-style filming that will remind you of a certain infamous horror movie that's gone on Netflix in the last year or so, called Escape to Tomorrow, which I'll tell you about later. I really liked it. I was gripped. I did come away. There's a couple of thematic things that I think needed, thematic elements I think needed more reinforcement, that needed to be bolstered, need to be, have more attention drawn to them. But other than that, I really enjoyed it, and especially compared to Tangerine, I thought infinitely better film. It's an hour 51. Kind of breezes by, feels like about 100 minutes. It feels about 10 minutes shorter than it is. I really liked it. I think Willem Dafoe absolutely steals it. And guess what? Willem Dafoe is a motel manager in a movie that it turns out does not involve murders.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen.
And we're back, Mr. Coulson. So, shall we... do you know what? I don't know if you noticed this. Wonder Woman, it's like buses.
Yeah.
You wait years and years for Wonder Woman to appear on a cinema screen.
Yeah.
And then in the space of 12 months, 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times. So we had Batman Superman.
Yeah.
And we had Wonder Woman. Yeah. And, tell a lie, 4 times, because Batman Superman, Wonder Woman, Professor Marston and the Wonder Women, which we're about to talk about, and then Justice League, which is next week.
Okay.
So, Professor Marston and the Wonder Women, which is written and directed by Angela Robinson. This is the biopic of the guy who created Wonder Woman.
Oh.
Okay, which, believe it or not, is a far more interesting story than you would think. So, his name is William Malden Marston, sorry. And he's played by Luke Evans. Okay, so Gaston is Professor Marston. The Wonder Women are his wife, Rebecca Hall, and their lover, Olive Byrne, played by Bella Heathcote. So I think most people know Bella Heathcote now from, she's the stalker chick in 50 Shades Darker, and I think she was in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and...
Not Captain America.
Not in Captain America, no. She's not had a Marvel role yet. So the idea is, first of all, he invented the lie detector.
All right.
That's the story. He invented the lie detector. He was the college professor who invented the lie detector. He takes on an academic student, an academic sort of support worker who's one of his students, who's Olive Byrne, and she falls in love with both he and his wife, who both in turn fall in love with them. They enter into a polyamorous relationship back in a time when there really wasn't a term for it.
Okay.
Right. They are quickly ostracized by their community. They move away. They try to live a relatively, a relatively discreet life.
Okay.
And given that he can't really work in academia, he basically comes up with the character of Wonder Woman, who is based on an amalgamation of both women.
All right.
So, all the sort of headstrong stubbornness of his wife and all the physical presence of their lover. Here's a clip.
A comic book, Bill?
Well, it's perfect. I'm going to inject my ideas right into the thumping heart of America. I mean, I'll get a real artist to draw it properly.
She's an Amazon princess that lives on an island of all women.
Paradise Island.
And a man crash lands on the island.
Yeah, Steve Trevor the spy.
And she wears a burlesque outfit.
Well, it's athletic.
And silver bracelets.
They deflect bullets.
And all her friends and helpers are sorority girls who have spanking parties and everybody fights Nazis and rides in an invisible plane.
Yes.
Yeah, you can kind of get a sense of the tone from there, can't you?
Sounds so simple.
It really does. Right, this is great. This is really something. A lot of the success of it comes from the casting and the writing that they're all afforded. There's a heart and a warmth to it. Not quite the same heart and warmth as Paddington, admittedly. Very different. There's a lot of very sharp and concise storytelling at play for a character-driven romantic drama of sorts. This is really a cut above. It has issues. And those issues really relate more to its depiction of reality than anything else. Okay. And that ordinarily is something I wouldn't consider, because obviously reality has nothing to do with the film. Unless that film ends with kind of showing you the reality.
Right.
And a film that's built on the romance and the goodwill that this is, it then ends with that stock thing of, let's put up pictures of the real people.
Yeah.
Right. The problem is, once you discover that Luke Evans is a good 25 to 30 years younger than the actual Professor Marston was, and that his wife was more or less the same age, the story suddenly becomes a little bit seedier.
Oh.
Yeah. And the problem is that once you've gone through the entirety of this film and been charmed by it and been wowed by it and actually been really taken in by it to the extent that you have, that feels like a bit of a gut punch at the end. Because you think, okay, well, I feel that kind of cheapens it a bit now. I feel like you kind of should have left that be.
Probably why they did it at the end.
Yeah, just skip the true story pictures. Just cut to the end. Give us the text on the black screen. That would have been fine. Don't give us the photos, and then basically recast the whole movie in our mind. Because the guy looked more like the actor Tracy Letts or Bruce Davison than he did Luke Evans. So the evil senator from the first X-Men movie.
All right, there we go.
There you go. Yeah, he looked more like him than Luke Evans.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, there is that. Having said that, it's a really romantic, really powerful story, and there's some great imagery in it. There's a shot, for instance, of a bleary-eyed Luke Evans, from his point of view, of a figure walking into a room in a blurry haze, and then that figure splitting in two, because it turns out his wife and girlfriend have been walking one behind the other, and it's a wonderful shot that I think kind of defines the film. There's a lot of, visual in-jokery as regards the Wonder Woman mythology, things like, oh, look, silver bracelets, because Olive wears silver bracelets, so it becomes a staple of the character. There's lots of stuff like that. And actually, it's a really cleverly done idea. This, for instance, is light years beyond Goodbye Christopher Robin, for instance.
All right.
Way better than that. Or, for instance, Finding Neverland. But, which was already better than Goodbye Christopher Robin, but Goodbye Movie. That's all. But no, I really liked it. I was solidly impressed by it. I think it could have done without that little sting at the end. But
which you gave us at the beginning of the review. If you'd have done it at
the end. I'm preparing you. It's like the mountain between us. You wish you'd gotten to that bit first so you could know the whole movie was going to suck rather than the last third. But, Right, give me a piece of film news before we do the top 5 then.
Lena Headey.
Lena Headey.
Yeah, I always say her name wrong.
Cersei Lannister?
Yeah, I was going to say for shame, but then I was like,
just say Cersei Lannister.
Yeah.
No one cares what her actual name is.
No, it's true.
It's just Cersei Lannister.
She makes you love her, hate her, love her, hate her.
Love her, hate her, sometimes both, simultaneously under the sheets. But, well, that literally is a plot point in Game of Thrones, isn't it? So... Yeah, she's doing a new movie. Actually, funnily enough, that ties into kind of about Professor Marston. That's another author biopic as well. Oh. That one is about, I forget his name, who did Wind in the Willows. Well, that's going to bug me. It's the author biopic of the creator of Wind in the Willows.
You're looking at me. I'm one of the most uncultured people that you know.
You were a child once. Did you not see Wind in the Willows?
I wasn't a child. I was born at 6'3".
That is kind of true. Forget his name. But yeah, so she's going to star in that. It's called Banking on Mr. Toad.
That's a great name.
It's a great title, isn't it? I'm a big fan of that title. So yeah, we've got that to come. That could be interesting. Shall we crack on with the top 5 then?
Yes.
Number 5.
The Death of Stalin.
Well, The Death of Stalin would have been a very different movie. It's just this dictator just sitting there saying, sorry, can you speak up? Yeah. No.
Again.
Although, this being the comedy that it is, I'm absolutely surprised that did not make it in. It's absolutely hilarious. Are you a fan of Armando Iannucci movies at all? Like, In the Loop? Things like that?
A little bit.
No, you watch In the Thick of It? Veep? In fact, I know you watch Veep.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
Because I know your missus watches Veep, so I know you've seen your share of Veep.
Been in the room when Veep's on.
Yeah, exactly. Very similar tone. He's not skipped a beat there. It is hilarious. I think it's the funniest thing he's put out yet. The cast are tremendous. Steve Buscemi, Jeffrey Tambor, Michael Palin, and of course, Sir Jason Isaacs. I'm voluntarily calling him Sir. I know he's not Sir. He deserves to be. He absolutely steals this film. He's tremendous in it. And yeah, I was a huge fan.
All right, so people on Twitter are agreeing with you as well. So Tyler Chinnick, I'm sorry if I got it wrong, says that the film's as good as it says it is. It's hilarious, gripping, dark, daft, horrific. Can't think of another film quite like it.
Number 4.
Jigsaw.
Which I loved. I mean, I'm guessing you're not a Saw guy.
So I've seen Saw 1 and like the end, I was like, wow.
Yeah, the end's a belter, the first one, isn't it?
And then I've seen, is it Saw 3D?
That's the last one.
Which, like, Kel took me to see, and then she looked at me and she's like, oh yeah, I'm kind of sorry about that. I was like, wow.
Is that the one where they strap Chester Bennington to a car and then rip him in half?
And rip his back off.
Yeah, they rip his back off, don't they? Well, I love all the Saw movies. They're guilty pleasures of mine. They are just, for me, fun, frivolous, gore-fueled extravaganzas.
The first one's so good.
The first one is a great film, and the rest... That's the thing. It's that film versus movie equation, isn't it? The first one works as a solid film. The rest are kind of cheap exploitation movies. This is very much more in the spirit of the cheap exploitation movie. And this is, a full-fledged reboot. And for me, it does what it says on the tin, which is, it's bringing Saw back for, a crowd that's moved on for 6 years. And I'm okay with that. Yeah.
The internet sort of disagrees.
Well, the internet can disagree all it likes. Go on.
So it's Galaxy Girl, but it's with a Z, so I don't trust their opinion anymore.
Okay.
Just saw the new Jigsaw movie. It wasn't as good as the others. It's just okay. No, I disagree. I also saw Geostorm. Well,
that kind of says it all.
I'm just going to stop reading because
she got more to say. She also saw Geostorm.
Yeah.
That was a weird day.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, to be fair, I think I saw both on the same day as well.
Yeah, but it's more. It's got a Z in her name.
Is that your dividing line? There's a Z. Kick her out.
I'm out. I'm sorry, you've lost me.
I'll get me coat. I disagree. I disagree entirely.
Number 3.
Bad Mom's Christmas.
Which is not a patch on the first one.
First one was really it shouldn't have been good.
Shouldn't have been, but it was, wasn't it?
It was,
yeah. The second one, the thing of the first one is the first one had that kind of Bad Santa-ish feeling of, we're kind of doing an indie movie, but it's got the look and cast of a mainstream Hollywood film.
Yeah.
This is, in the same way that Bad Santa just became a generic Hollywood sequel,
that's horrific.
This does very much the same thing, and it's nowhere near as funny. I don't think I actually laughed out loud once. I did a couple of, You know, couple of those, couple of kind of moments. You know, that's really it. It's like Catherine Hahn. You know, Susan Sarandon. Dudu played the Green Arrow and is now on This Is Us. You know, that's really it. And I never really laughed, and that's a shame given how good the first one was.
All right, so Eric Brewer on Twitter says, I've had a few days to recover, but I think it's safe to say that Bad Moms Christmas might have been the best Christmas movie ever made.
What the hell?
Not seen Harold and Kumar, so...
He's not seen Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas. He's not seen The Ref / Hostile Hostages, Die Hard, Bad Santa...
Why would you take that from me? I was going to say Die Hard.
Bad Santa, The Night Before...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because this is the first Christmas this year when we actually get to enjoy that as a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, after its actual release.
Oh,
so
didn't it come out like...
It came out last Christmas.
Yeah.
Last Christmas. Yeah, that and Office Christmas Party were last Christmas. And I'm looking forward to including them in my alternative Christmas repertoire this year.
Number 2.
Thor Ragnarok.
Which you've not seen yet, have you?
No, but I've read.
You've read.
So I'm super excited.
I did say I will go with you and see it when you want to go. Right, I think it's tremendous. I think it's a great, fun, flashy, just fantastic sequel. And it has all... You know how Thor was always a great character who was also funny?
Yeah.
Now he's a great, funny character. And that's it. That's the transition.
They've realised, put it together...
Yeah, they've upped the comedy factor significantly. They've applied it to other characters as well. So all the characters now seem to actually have an appreciation of how ridiculous they all are. So like Loki, for instance, seems to actually have a perception of how silly he actually looks.
And his helmet.
Yeah, and that kind of thing does come up. There's a sequence very early on involving Loki on Asgard that for me is absolutely the high watermark of the film. It's a sequence that involves Anthony Hopkins and some cameos, and it is tremendous. And the way in which Thor deals with that scene is absolutely brilliant and very in-fitting with what you love about that character. The new additions do work tremendously well. I liked Tessa Thompson quite a bit as Valkyrie, Cate Blanchett, so much fun as Hela, Carl Urban as Scourge, very much a lot of fun. And, of course, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, who is the closest we'll ever get, I think, at this stage to seeing the Peter David version of that character blown up and on screen. Okay. And he is that great talk. If you've ever seen the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Hero cartoon, it's that version of Hulk.
Oh, right.
And I'm really glad I've actually been seeing these films long enough to actually seen that version on a cinema screen. It is so much fun, and you absolutely must see it.
And Twitter completely agrees.
That's good.
Yeah, which is nice.
It is nice.
So Laura Broadberry says it's absolutely brilliant. Wonderful mix of comedy, drama, action, and exceptional cast.
Fantastic.
And then the little okay.
The little hand gesture thing.
The little emoji.
Number 1.
Murder on the Orient Express.
I've not seen it. So it was subject to filmmaker approval. And
awkward.
Yeah, I know, which is weird. I've interviewed Kenneth Branagh twice.
Yeah.
So yeah, can't figure that one out. I don't really care, to be honest. I'm not giving up my own personal time or money to see Murder on the Orient Express. Let's be really honest. It looks like the kind of thing Netflix would do for a laugh.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Hey, let's just get a big ass cast, right? We'll chuck like 100 mil at it, and we'll just make the same old thing. But because we're Netflix, people will buy it. Only this time it's Fox doing it. And this is probably the reason that people like Disney can have conversations about buying their entire library. Yeah, kind of that reason. So what's Twitter got on it?
Well, after you not seeing it, I sort of don't want to tell you.
Fair enough. Go on, what's it say?
It says, saw Murder on the Orient Express and I'm all bored.
Oh.
Not a whodunit, only a why do it again.
You know what? Me and this person have a lot in common, I think. Let's have drinks.
I didn't read that before, and just that was brilliant.
Let's meet up. Let's have drinks.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back for what Vin Diesel would call one last ride. Yeah. So, I know we've got one that you're going to absolutely love next. Do you want to give me a quick piece of film news before we do it, though?
Yeah, Red Sonja revival.
Right. Are you aware of Red Sonja?
Not in the slightest.
Okay, she was like an offshoot of the Conan series.
Oh, right.
Like basically Girl Conan.
Yeah.
They did make it into a movie in the 80s starring Bridget Nielsen, and then she got Schwarzenegger to co-star in it.
Have we spoken about this?
Entirely possible.
Yeah.
I think it's entirely possible. Now, Millennium Media, I think they're called now, they're trying to revive the series. Millennium Media, of course, are run by R.V. Lerner, who produced the Expendables series under that label. So you have an idea of what they're kind of going for then. I always want to know, what happened to the Expendables series that we're supposed to get? It was going to be the Girl Expendables. A star like Ronda Rousey, etc., wasn't it?
I think they were in some of them, and then I think they went, let's do this, and everyone went like, no.
I think so. Apparently this is being fast-tracked, though, so we will see it sooner rather than later.
Okay.
I don't know who you'd get to play that character now. Maybe it would be Ronda Rousey, who knows? You know, that I could believe that.
Yeah.
As Red Son, yeah. I don't know any other girl UFC fighters other than like Gina Carano, and I don't think she's even competing anymore, is she?
She didn't even make it to the UFC.
Oh, okay, there we are.
She retired before.
Oh, well, fair enough then. Okay. So from female fighters then to manly movies.
Okay.
So right, I know you and I love a good schlocky manly movie.
Yeah, we do.
You know, we've watched Point Break more times than we can count.
Yeah, I love that film.
You know, caught my first tube today, sir. Right. So I am going to review for you now a movie so manly that at one point it features Jeff Bridges in a cowboy hat saying the words, "If you're looking for sympathy, the only place you'll find it is in the dictionary, somewhere between sorry and syphilis." That's how manly Only the Brave is. Okay? It is backdraft for the Lone Survivor crowd.
All right.
Only without the stupid title, because that title kind of gave away the end of the film. You remember the poster? Like 5 men went behind enemy lines. Lone Survivor. You're like, yeah, cheers for that. I don't need to see the film now. Yeah, cheers for that, Peter Berg. So this is directed by Joseph Kosinski, who brought us Tron Legacy and Oblivion. And basically, he's made a Peter Berg movie.
Oh.
That's how this works. It is the story of the Granite Mountain Hotshots.
Wow.
It's a manly name, isn't it? Yeah, that is a manly name.
Your voice got deeper when you said it.
I feel like I've grown more hair saying that. Yeah, Granite Mountain Hotshots. Ooh, I'm full of beard now. Anyway, so I love my giant beard. Anyway, it stars Josh Brolin and Miles Teller, Jeff Bridges, Taylor Kitsch, and don't be alarmed though, because both Miles Teller and Taylor Kitsch are quite good in it. I know how weird that is. And basically, they are the first municipally formed and actually accepted member of the Hotshots sort of unit. They are the guys who go into brush fires, wildfires in like Northern California and Arizona.
Yeah.
And basically, they get ahead of the fire, they chop down all the trees, and they burn them. In controlled burns, so the fire has nowhere to go. They remove the fuel. Is basically the way this works.
They defeat fire with fire.
They literally fight fire with fire. Here's a clip of Josh Brolin training them to do exactly that.
Let's go, Bravo! Let's go, Bravo! Kick it off, max level!
Norris, pop quiz. You're cutting a line on the side hill below the fire. Debris and logs can start to roll down across your line. What do you do?
Do a cup trench. Move the logs so they're up and down the slope.
There it is. Outstanding. And McDonough, pop quiz. What's your 11th watch out? No, don't look at him. Look at me. What's your 11th watch out?
The fire liner kind of has been anchored.
Wrong. That's 8.
You're getting spot fires across
That's 16. Alpha squad, hold. What's your 11th watch out?
Hover fuel between you and the fire.
Firefighters died for us. We could learn all these watchouts. If you get another one wrong, I will choke you out.
Charming fellow, wasn't he?
Chest just got more hair.
It did, didn't it? It is. It's a manly movie. It really is. And it makes no bones about it. Here's the thing. Despite the fact that it's directed by, Kosinski and, the body of work he has behind him, you expect this to be a big, over-the-top, spectacle-driven thing. It's really not. It is very much a character. I mean, there are set pieces, obviously, but it's more about the characters and their interactions, their relationships, etc. This does involve a certain historical event as regards firefighting that kind of does give the end of the film away.
All right.
So don't look into it too much if you don't already know, and if you do already know, you'll probably know why you want to see it. There you go. It's really well staged. The cast are all really good, and they've all got that sort of, that lantern-jawed bromance thing. This is one of those, Lone Survivor, Deepwater Horizon, those kind of films that are all like real American heroes, kind of a film,
The clip had a chainsaw.
Yeah, chainsaw and yelling, I'll choke you out. You know, it has stuff like that. And everyone's like calling everyone bro. And, you know, it's like, and you kind of buy into it. You do. Even Miles Teller, who, for the record, is playing, and they've cast him really well, actually, because given my opinion of Miles Teller, which is he's kind of a brat, he's kind of a spoilt brat of an actor.
Stop hating him so much.
Well, here's the thing. Cleverly, they cast him as a spoilt brat who has to work to become a useful person. And I kind of feel like there was a meta statement in that. Because it worked on me. By the end of the movie, I thought, you know what, Miles Teller? You might look like you're starring in the music video for Stan, but you're all right, man. You're all right. And Taylor Kitsch, top of his game. Absolutely. I never thought I'd say it. Taylor Kitsch. Seriously. The crap Gambit from the Wolverine spin-off. Remember that? Him. He's actually good in this.
I think that's what it says on his headshots.
On his IMDb page, it actually says, 2008, 2007, 2008, X-Men Origins Wolverine, crap Gambit. That's how it says. But no, really good. And of course, it's all led by Josh Brolin, the man with the greatest head of hair in Hollywood.
And voice.
Oh, he has. But seriously, have you noticed that hair?
Yeah.
That's serious hair. And you don't trifle with that hair.
Have you seen him now?
Well, he's in Deadpool mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is jacked.
Yeah, you don't trifle with anything.
Well, you kind of get the embryo stage of that in this. Nowhere near Deadpool level, but you do get the embryo stage.
First pump,
But, yeah. Don't get me wrong, it is emotionally cloying. It is cliched. They do phone in certain plot machinations.
I always feel that's needed in a man film, though.
It is. The thing is, this is one of those films where you're either on board 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
Or you're not. If you pay money to see this and 5 minutes in you think you're not enjoying it, immediately leave and ask for a refund. And because you've only seen 5 minutes of it, they may well give it to you. But seriously, if you don't like those first 5 minutes, just leave. Go to the GBK or go and get a Pizza Express or something. You will get more out of it than the rest of this film if you don't like those first 5 minutes. Funnily enough,
from the clip I was in,
exactly. You're going to love it. Oh. Like we're doing this is a man night movie for us. This is a Nando's night, kind of thing. Yeah. I was sat next to a critic friend of mine who I won't name. Out of respect, I will not name him.
Or her.
Or her. No, or her. It could totally be a her. Or an it. Might be an it. Might be a puppy. We don't know. Could be a puppy. Might have been a potted cactus. We don't know. We couldn't possibly say. It was potted cactus. Anyway, my friend, who is mocking this film just disastrously all the way through, is like, ugh, gets to the end. And they do the thing where they show you the real guys, because this is based on a true story.
So good.
And it opens with based on true events. And my friend had missed that moment. Had been looking away at that moment when it said based on true. Did not know. Had mocked the whole film. Gets to the end and they show you the real people. And my friend says, "Oh, is that a real story? Oh, okay. I might have taken it a bit more seriously if I'd known that." Yeah. I don't quite know what to say to that. But, yeah, I mean, I can understand, because I've been there. Yeah. I've been there. If I'd known it was real, I probably would have taken it a bit more seriously. I didn't realise Gambit was a real guy. But, yeah, alas, Only the Brave is not our film of the week. It's very good. I had a great time with it. And you know what? Great date movie. Absolutely great date movie. Not a film of the week, though. I think The Bear's getting that one.
Yeah,
I think Paddington. The only bad thing about Paddington 2 is they didn't call it the Pawshank Redemption.
Wow.
It would have been amazing, wouldn't it? The Pawshank Redemption. That would have been fantastic. Paddington, the Pawshank Redemption. Come on, people. I'm not here to do your work for you. End of the day, it's not my GCSE. Anyway, so... yeah, next week, some interesting stuff to come. We've got Ingrid Goes West, which is Aubrey Plaza in the lead for a change.
All right, cool.
That's always a good thing. We've got Film Stars Don't Die in Liverpool, starring Annette Bening and Jamie Bell. So a May to December romance there. We've got Good Time, starring Robert Pattinson, which is meant to be amazing.
All right.
I hear really good things. We've got Kenny, a movie about Kenny Dalglish.
All right, so it's not about my mate's dad.
Not about your mate's dad, and it's not about McCormick either.
Oh.
We've got Trophy, which is a movie about hunting. We've got Mudbound, starring Garrett Hedlund. We've got Manifesto, starring Cate Blanchett. And, well, there's this little film about, like, a legal society. Justice League is out next week. If we're allowed to see it, we don't know yet. But, we're running a competition. We've got people at their exhibition right now taking pictures. So, it's on them if they want to just follow through and, do the last thing and let us actually see the film.
It's kind of mean if they don't.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it? Yeah. It's like, we did all your promo for you. Can we actually see the thing we're promoting? Please. Yeah, so just a reminder, Justice League stuff is being given away in a competition section on our site, onscreenfilm.com, where we're also giving away Blu-rays of Sorcerer, Blu-rays of Blood Simple. Both those movies absolutely worth checking out. We can't speak to Justice League yet. We haven't seen it. No one has, as far as I know. And it's embargoed until, next Wednesday morning, so anyone who tells you before then is a liar. They are a filthy, filthy liar. That, or they should be prosecuted by Warner Brothers for breaking embargo.
Yeah, either or.
Absolutely. In the meanwhile, this has been a Candy Store for On Screen. I've been Van Connor.
I've been John Coulson.
And we'll be back.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Off Screen. For more news and reviews, visit onscreenfilm.com.
Podcast extras.
Well, we've got an anime movie to review.
Okay.
And then we're going to review Kaleidoscope. And I feel a bit bad that I've shunted Kaleidoscope down to the podcast extras.
Why?
But there's just too much this week.
All right.
There's just too much. And it's a really good week. Like, most of the things this week are at least pretty good.
At least
pretty good. I didn't come away from it. I don't think I came away from anything this week.
It's average at worst.
Yeah, average at worst. I don't think I came away from anything this week hating it or vaguely disliking it.
Okay.
Having said that, we'll get to fireworks in a moment, which is the only thing that comes close to that. We'll start with a news piece. Is there anything in the news that's grabbed your attention?
So, Marvel thinking about some villains from Hulk?
Yeah, you remember The Incredible Hulk?
Yeah,
it's like been forgotten to the ravages of time.
It's because they were pants films.
Well, it was the second Marvel Cinematic Universe movie.
And it was pants.
It wasn't made that way. I think they made it as just a regular reboot. And then, because Marvel Studios was formed around that time, they went in at the 11th hour and stuck in loads of references to S.H.I.E.L.D. and then filmed an end credits bit where Tony Stark turned up.
Years later.
Well, this is the thing, it took them something like 4 years to get round to explaining the continuity of it, because it didn't make any sense. Because then Iron Man 2 came out 2 years later, and Tony Stark still hadn't done that bit from Incredible Hulk.
Oh, wow.
So it was, what? So as a result, I don't know if you know this, the 2008 The Incredible Hulk, starring Edward Norton as the character that will eventually become Mark Ruffalo, takes place the same week as Thor and Iron Man 2.
All right.
Yeah. So this is referred to in fan circles genuinely as Fury's Big Week.
Wow.
Yeah. There's also a short film that takes place in the same week as well, starring Agent Coulson. So, called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Thor's Hammer. So,
I think I've seen
You
that.
may have. He stops a convenience store robbery on the way to... Yeah. But the whole thing here now is that, obviously, The Incredible Hulk left two villains hanging at the end.
Okay.
Because Tim Roth's Abomination survived. He wasn't killed. Hulk was going to kill him, and they didn't. And he just sort of seemed to get taken away. And...
Pants movie,
yeah. Well, I quite like it. I infinitely prefer it.
That doesn't...
I prefer it. It's not just because of my thing of liking any movie with Tony Stark in, but I prefer it infinitely to Ang Lee's Hulk.
Well, yeah, because one's a pants movie and the other one's
an awful movie.
Yeah. Like less than pants.
The stuff that usually fills pants. Yeah, so you had the Abomination by Tim Roth. He was left hanging. You also had the Leader, who was played by Tim Blake Nelson. You remember the scientist whose head got cut and the Hulk's DNA goo fell in the wound and mutated him? And right, that got left hanging. Oh. So there is a megalomaniacal. I've lost him, but to speak. Super villain with psychic powers running around in the Marvel universe, and it's never come up. So, yeah. So someone asked Kevin Feige this week, because he's doing the press rounds all around the world for Thor Ragnarok, because that opened in the US this last weekend.
Oh, okay.
And someone asked him, are we ever going to see these villains again? He's like, yeah, we'll get to them. When we've got a good idea for them, we'll get to them, because Abomination's in prison somewhere. And that actually was in one of the shorts as well.
Oh, right.
In The Consultant, Agent Coulson told us that Blonsky is in, I think he's Antarctica, I think.
So they're just Star Wars in things and explaining things in recent films.
Well, you know what? They can afford to.
Yeah.
I realised this past week that if anyone asks you what my favourite comic book movie is, I usually just say the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I can watch more or less any of them.
Yeah.
There's only like Iron Man 2 and maybe Avengers 2 that I won't rewatch, really.
Thor 2.
No, that's still funny enough for me to keep rewatching.
Why? There's so much of it missing.
Yeah, I know, but there's stuff in it I like.
Also, they get the tube stops wrong.
Don't I know it? Yeah, don't I know? Wouldn't it be great if that tube stop thing was actually accurate?
It's not even difficult to do. Like, the tube maps everywhere. It's like a...
Yeah. It is weird, isn't it? Doesn't he get on like Tottenham Court Road and it's apparently 2 stops away from Greenwich or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
It's so weird, so random.
It's like, mate, 2 stops from there is about 10 yards down the road.
I'm just trying to find the full title of our first review because it's a deranged title when you translate it. Oh man, it's not coming up. It's called Fireworks. Should we watch it from the back or the sides? That's the title.
Question mark? Or?
Question mark, yes.
Beautiful.
Right, and this is the story of a group of school children. It's an anime movie. Story of a group of school children who are trying to figure out if fireworks are round or flat if you view them from the side. And then one of these school children, well, they're teenagers, really. One of these teenagers
that makes it worse.
wants to run away from home, and there's a sliding door style time loop element involved where we see different versions of what would happen if she left, and this sort of will they won't they romance she has with one of the other teens.
This is not with a firework. Like this.
Yeah, there are a lot of fireworks in it. I mean, credit to it, it lives up to the title. I mean, it's gorgeous to look at because all these films are.
Yeah,
they're gorgeous visually. You get the very distinct impression that this has been designed to cash in on. Remember Your Name? Have you heard of that one?
No.
Your Name came out earlier this year, and I think I saw it at the very end of last year, actually. And it was a critical darling. It was huge with film critics. And it was like a body swap comedy.
Oh, okay.
But an anime movie that was also a rom-com and also had an asteroid hitting the Earth kind of a storyline. It sounds bizarre. They're now making a live-action version and J.J. Abrams is producing it. So I'm sure it'll be great when it's set in Southern California. But, this is directed by... This is directed by Akiyuki Shimbo and Nobuyuki Takuchi. And... I will say, on the production side of it, everything is great about it. Everything works for it. The character design is terrific. The staging of it, the animation, everything about it is glorious. What doesn't quite work is the script, which is, to coin your term, pants.
Yeah.
And, it's a real sort of a hodgepodge. There's disparate elements. It loses its way so often, and... I don't think they really make enough of a thing out of what the actual time loopy sliding doorsy gimmick is. Okay. It's like a golden ball that you drop in a swimming pool. And I know, your look says volumes. If you are an anime completist, which I know you personally are not.
What gave that away?
I'm not either, to be fair. I'm not really an anime guy.
I've only ever seen Spirited Away and had to have counselling after that.
Well, I really liked Arrietty, which is the anime adaptation of The Borrowers, which is fantastic. And if you saw it in the English language dub, had Mark Strong in it as well.
Oh, cool.
And Saoirse Ronan. But really good, no matter if you saw it in English or in its original language. But this is certainly no Your Name. Okay. No, I definitely would not put it up on that pedestal. But so, have you got another piece of the old news for me? Something to tide us along.
Got some more news, dear. Let's have a quick look.
I have a feeling you're going for something that's really going to depress me as well.
Reading that made me sad.
Go on.
So Jack Black might not be coming back for Goosebumps. Which...
Right, this is a thing. He might not. It's not confirmed. Right, apparently
sounds
Sony...
like you're trying to stop me from crying. Like
I am trying to console you because I was upset as well. I love Goosebumps.
It's so good.
It is. This generation's Jumanji. Until they get a Jumanji sequel at the end of this year.
Oh God, I've seen the trailer. No, I'm out.
No, you out?
Yeah,
you out?
I'm out. Apart from The Rock's funny, but out.
Yeah, The Rock's funny, and Jack Black's doing his Goosebumpsy thing again, and Kevin Hart's doing some squeaking, and Karen Gillan's got some little shorts. So they know their audience. They clearly do. Right. So the idea is Sony have greenlit a Goosebumps sequel. It's going to be called Goosebumps Horrorland, and the way this is going to work is they've got a release date for it,
right?
And they are basically just shepherding writers into their studio to write their own scripts for this movie, and they're just going to pick the one they like the most. one of the ones they seem to quite like doesn't include Jack Black returning as R.L. Stine. And that's where this story has come from. So there's other scripts that do have him in that they like, but they also really like this one that doesn't have Jack Black in it.
Yeah, but he was great in it.
I know. And if this were anything other than Goosebumps, I would always say it's probably better to have the one that doesn't have Jack Black in. But he's good in Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about Steve King. I love that moment. So, I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you. I know it's very depressing. But, okay, so another review then, last review then for this week. Okay. Let's talk then about Kaleidoscope. This is a doozy of a one. So, this is written and directed by Rupert Jones. It stars Toby Jones. So I don't think there's a relation, don't worry. So Toby Jones, who most of us, I think, outside of Tinker Tailor and British TV, know as being Arnim Zola from Captain America. Yeah, you know the one, yeah. Actually, I am Swiss.
He's done such great work.
But Captain America, yeah. It's just weird how that works, isn't it?
Yeah,
there's so many of these actors now that you pick the superhero one, and yet he was in Atomic Blonde like 3 months ago.
Well,
But in fact, let me just go through. Oh, he's Dobby. We forget that he's Dobby the house elf.
Oh yeah,
he is. Yeah, I'm just going through his body of work.
Oh, what? Because we glossed over it and said he's in Captain America.
Yeah, we glossed over it, just dismissed. Oh, he's that guy from Captain America. But of course, the Snowman. He's in the Jurassic World sequel that's coming out. He was in Dad's Army last year. Oh, Dad's Army. Which is a movie I didn't get. I think I'm not the audience for that, I don't think. Films like Morgan, stuff like that, he was in as well. Also, wasn't he in one of the Alice in Wonderland movies? The Tim Burton ones.
One of the really... Was he the Johnny Depp rubbish one?
Yeah. One? I don't know. Oh. I think he's in there somewhere. Yeah. But anyway, okay, so this stars Toby Jones. Okay. And he's a man who wakes up one morning on the sofa in his council tower block in what can only be described as the most psychotic shirt you've ever seen. Please allow me to show you a picture of that shirt. Oh, wow. That's a mental shirt, isn't it? Right. He wakes up one morning in this shirt with a pain in his head that could be attributed to injury, hangover, etc. A bunch of empty booze bottles nearby, which quickly answers that question. A broken chair at the bottom of his staircase and a dead girl in his bathroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Escalating.
And he has to piece together quite what happened the night before, as well as deal with an impending visit from his mother, with whom he has something of a tumultuous relationship, who's created nothing but irritation for him over the years. And basically, his mental state and his backstory start to become clearer and clearer as the story goes on. We have a clip.
Don't you remember how happy we were? Happiness to kill for.
I'm looking for someone. My wife. She's here.
If it sends you off somewhere, I'll come and get you.
You left clues everywhere.
You know you're in psychologically unsafe terrain when there's a harp involved, don't you?
Yeah.
Harp equals insanity. That's how this works.
Terrifying instrument.
This is tremendous.
Oh, cool.
It really is. It's like a stripped down, almost chamber piece take on a Hitchcock movie. There's a bit of Psycho in there, but there's a bit of Nolan's Memento in there as well, with the whole sort of disparate memory kind of an element, the psychological unravelling. Toby Jones owns this outright. I really liked Anne Reid as his mum as well, and I was watching the film like I know her like from something, and I know her name, and I know who Anne Reid is, but I can't remember what she's been in that I know, and she's Mrs. Tiller from Hot Fuzz. Yeah, you remember?
Yeah.
That turned out to be where I knew her from. So I'm dismissing Toby Jones as, he's like, I'm from Captain America. And Anne Reid as, Mrs. Tiller from Hot Fuzz. But
Hot Fuzz, though. Great film.
Yeah, great movie. Yeah. Shame they couldn't make a third one that lived up, but never mind. Anyway, difficult third album, man. It's the Be Here Now of British comedies.
Like that album. Yeah, sorry.
But anyway. But no, I really like this. Really, really well constructed, tightly written, tightly woven tale. Really well put together, and just kind of at the centre of it all is just this amazing Toby Jones performance. It's just Toby Jones doing absolutely what he does best, in films like Captain America. Yeah. And yeah, absolutely fantastic. I was gripped end to end. I really was. I found it was an hour 40, and it feels like a much more substantial film as well. This feels like a whopping, kind of a 2.5 hour prestige kind of an indie flick at times. But no, it's an hour 40. It breezes by, even though it does feel weighty. It feels meaty, a character piece. And the twists and turns it takes, you absolutely won't see coming.
Brilliant.
And I really tremendously enjoyed it.
Oh, great.
But yeah, so what have you got for me? One piece of news, take us to the end then.
All right, so this is my favourite, just because on your Instagram, the people that liked it. So DiCaprio is going to produce something.
Okay. Oh, this is is it Ulysses S. Grant?
Yeah, and Love Sherlock Holmes have liked your post there.
We get some weird ones like Instagram and Twitter.
I know, yeah.
We get some really weird ones. We get a lot of T-shirt companies that like our stuff for some reason. Don't know why.
It's just because Last Exit to Nowhere being awesome stuff.
Maybe that's it. But so all right. So it turns out that Leonardo DiCaprio seems to have a thing about Ulysses S. Grant.
Okay.
Who was I didn't realise this, was a failed businessman and a retired soldier until he was called back into service during the Civil War for Abraham Lincoln, and became, he went on to become president. We all know that. He was the general who became the president. And basically he won the Civil War, as it were. But I didn't realise that he also had a legacy of basically standing up for the rights of black Americans in a time when that really wasn't a thing, except for the whole pesky Civil War thing and the KKK, unless you believe Tarantino, because he has a funny version of history. But I'm not over Django Unchained. I never will be. And,
do you think this is DiCaprio trying to get away from the fact that he dropped the N-word so many times in one film?
In Django Unchained.
That it became...
It absolutely could. I'm good in this one.
Yeah.
Well, it's not confirmed that he'll star. He's going to produce it.
But still, being attached to it.
It's entirely possible. He could. I mean, DiCaprio can do anything. Who do you get to be the shark from Jaws? DiCaprio. Could absolutely work.
He'd suit the beard.
He would. But I'd say that's it for our podcast edition then this week. So, that's the expanded extras. So hope you've got some extra bang for your buck.
Yeah.
And in which case, here it is, your moment of Cage.
What are you going to do for me?
What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to save the day.